calling off the photo shoot altogether. That's
Game
it.
over, ball burst.
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Mark, and this is Emmett, and this is our YouTube.
We don't have a name for it yet.
That doesn't have a name. But
welcome back.
Yeah, in this video we're just going over basically our weekly check-in and how we're getting on with our photo shoot prep. We are this day 5
weeks out.
This day 5 weeks out from the photo shoot prep for myself anyway, photo shoot number 1, and 7 weeks out from photo shoot number 2. But how have things been going for you this week?
Very good, yeah. Just listening to you there, I'm thinking, thank God I'm only doing one.
Yeah.
But no, things are going well. I have to say, like, there's no point sitting here lying. Last week was a struggle. I found last week very difficult. And I think I kind of mentioned it in a previous episode as well. It was like a psychological thing because my calories had dropped and my activity levels had gone up. Hunger was definitely higher. Training was a little bit harder. Energy was a little bit lower. And yeah, it was a bit of a struggle last week. But this week I found that I've definitely adapted now, and I feel like we're on the home stretch and I'm getting excited for it now. And when that kicks in, I'll hammer it home.
Yeah, I felt that especially because the last 2 weeks I was traveling, and when I got back I knew that it was just over 5 weeks to really hammer it home. So it has been a fairly standard week, I would say, for myself, but yeah, a few hiccups like that. Number one, my scales broke in my suitcase when I was traveling home. So I was back in Laois over the weekend, so I had my normal scales back in the home place. When I got back to Dublin, first thing Monday morning, hopped up on the scale, dushed. Off to a bad start this week. Went down then to make my porridge in the pot, my lovely pot of oats. The batteries went in me food scales and I was fit to burst. But
that would do it all right, to be fair. Yeah.
But I didn't re-download Deliveroo app just yet.
Yeah.
I managed to just
You didn't order McDonald's breakfast, no?
No, I held my own for the rest of the day. But I did the biggest struggle for me this week has definitely been my activity. The last 2 weeks, as I said to you,
Japan, so easy.
This time last week, I was flying it in terms of activity. I was melting the calories. I was on average 23,000 the first week,
that's huge.
On average 16,000 the second week, which is still very high for me. This past week was about 11,000.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, big drop. And as a result, probably why I've seen a bit of a stagnation on the scale. So I've been 81.4 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 81.2 this morning. However,
it's still dropping.
Exactly, and this is a very important point for any of you watching. My weekly average is still down over a kilo this week, which is well over 1% of my body weight. And both of us, when we're coaching clients, we are always telling them about the fluctuations, which you notice big time this week.
Absolutely, yeah. I had this conversation a good few times this week with different clients. And like that, it's something that I always take into consideration for myself. Like, I got up on the scales Monday morning and I hit a new low. It was 89.5. I was happy out, and then Tuesday morning I hop up on the scales, I was up 0.5. But like I literally said on my Instagram story, I didn't shit the bed. I didn't panic, didn't make any changes, instead doing exactly what I was doing, and dropped back down the next day, down 0.2, and as of this morning I've hit a new low of 89 kg. And like that, my weekly average is down significantly. And you know, even working with my own coach, all he's really looking at from week to week at my check-ins is my weekly average weight. He doesn't care what I am day to day. Like, we've kind of set out where I want to be each week in terms of my average, and I'm hitting that or below that every week. And that's all that matters. I don't care about the daily fluctuations. Like, it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. At this stage, I know why it's happening. Like, there's so many different factors that influence the scales. And I had this conversation with a client this morning, like how much sleep you got, how stressed you were, whether you trained or not, how many calories obviously you took in, what time you ate at, how much water you took in. I don't know if I said that already. Like, there's just so many, and females then a different story altogether with hormones. Like, there's so many things that affect the scales. It's going to fluctuate every day. Is it going to drop every single day? Most definitely not. So you need to accept that fact and understand the average is the most important thing.
And if you're confused and want to know how much you should be losing on a weekly basis, to put it as simply as possible, if you're in a fat loss phase, you should be aiming for about 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. And if it is dropping at that rate, you're in good hands.
You're flying it.
Yeah. And I've noticed, especially with myself, yourself would probably be in a similar boat, and anyone that has been in my group up until this point, the biggest drops are going to happen at the beginning of the diet. So say if you're dieting for 8 weeks, the first 4 weeks, you should be aiming higher for that about 1% body weight drop. After time, just because you have physically less body fat to lose and calories are a little bit lower and it's become a bit of a struggle, you're probably aiming more so towards that 0.5%. But once it is within that range, you have nothing to worry about. And that's why the weekly average is so important.
So important, yeah. It's key.
Absolutely. And that kind of ties us into, well, the rest of it. If there was any on-the-fly changes this week, like I mentioned there, having to not throw the baby out with the bathwater because the scales broke, the food scales batteries died. I just got on with my day. And one thing that I found really helpful in that situation is I'm eating pretty much the same thing.
Foods.
Exactly. Yeah. So I can tell you straight off the bat, that pot of oats has 60 grams of oats in it, water, 40 grams of whey protein, 60 grams of raspberries, 10 grams of jam, 10 grams of peanut butter, and a banana. Bob's your uncle.
And you know exactly what all of them portions look like as well because you're having that all the time.
Yeah, and maybe I'm off by a couple of grams one day, but that's the weekly average taken into account.
Exactly.
If I get back to it, if I forget the batteries the next day, it's going to mean I stay on track for the remainder of the week. 100%. No big deal. Whereas if you don't have that habit built up of, first of all, sticking to similar foods every day,
knowing how to track, knowing how to weigh.
Yeah, then that's the problem people run into. If your scale's broke, you don't eat roughly the same foods every day. It can be, that's making things way more difficult for your diet. As I said, I put a story there on Monday. I was like, I challenge anyone, I dare you to eat the same lunch every single day this week. Wonder how much of you did it.
Not too many, I would imagine.
No, but variety is the spice of life for some things. But when it comes to a diet, not necessarily. Just if you can stick to roughly the same kind of foods every day, it's just making things so much easier. It's easier.
It takes away decision fatigue as well. Like you're not wondering what you're going to eat every single day. Like we've said this before as well. I know exactly what I'm eating every single day. The only two meals that ever change for me are breakfast and dinner. Lunch always stays the same and my pre-bed meal always stays the same. For that reason, and when calories go up and when we're finished the shoot prep, I'll definitely change things up and add a little bit more variety. But for now, I know what my macros are, I know exactly what my calories are, and I know exactly what fills them up every day. So I just stick with that.
And that ties us into what happens after the photo shoot or after the diet. We'll probably, with that little bit more flexibility, but we will be eating the same foods. Like I eat that pot of oats year round. The only difference is, and you've mentioned this, the portion sizes change. So rather than having the 60 grams of oats, I'll have 80 or 100. I'll get back up to the 120 soon enough, hopefully.
I actually had a call with a client, what day is today, Friday? I had a call with a client Wednesday, and she was saying that to me, like she seen the week that I had the diet break, and it wasn't McDonald's and Supermax and takeaways. It was literally all of the same foods that I was already eating while in my diet, but just more of them. She said that was really interesting to see, and she kind of had this perception in her head that when she gets to that stage of moving to maintenance, it'll be a little bit of a free-for-all. It's not. Like you have to keep this stuff up and you have to keep prioritizing good quality foods and just eating more of those good quality foods.
There's good protein in a Me Feast pizza though.
Definitely, yeah.
Lovely.
And a spice box, which I will be indulging in after the shoot.
Oh, spice bag connoisseur over here. Shout out to Jean in Dublin, or New Bonanza in Rathdowney.
I have to mention Daly's in Burris, the best €10 you'll ever spend. My brother was here last night. Matty had it up on my Instagram story.
Is that the spice box?
That's the one, yeah. Oh, I can't wait for one after the shoot.
Stop.
Yeah, mouth's watering here thinking about it.
How's training been?
Good, yeah. Training's going well. Good week of training this week. Again, like that last week was a little bit of a struggle. Myself and Shane chatted about having potentially a deload week this week. And he said, look, go in, see how you feel, kind of auto-regulated. If you feel when you go into the session, you're starting out and you feel like a bag of shy, deload the session. So basically just pull a set off each exercise, potentially reduce the weight by 10-15%. But I didn't need, and I actually progressed all my lifts. So training went very well this week.
Yeah, so the joys of auto-regulation and having that communication with your coach, having that plan in advance rather than going into the gym just not really knowing what to do, just lifting whatever you like.
Just being able to bounce that off my coach, because if it had been up to me solely, I would have had a deload this week. And I didn't actually need it.
And that's another bit of mental fatigue that you don't
yep.
need as well, especially when you're deeper into a diet. You don't want to be having to worry about that sort of stuff. Let your coach worry about that for you.
And I don't want to be worrying about when I need to make changes or if I need to make changes. He tells me every week what to do and I just execute the plan. Simple as that.
Yep. I've been similar enough to you as well this week. If anything, this was one of my best weeks for training.
Nice, because you're home from Japan.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mentioned in last week's check-in with Witchy was I found it quite difficult to train out there. It was out of my control. Certain days you weren't allowed to train. Other days...
No visitors on Thursdays.
No visitors on Thursdays for whatever reason. Bit discrimination, I knew. But anyways, that the likes of using equipment that I'm not normally used to, shite equipment, I'll call a spade, the techno gym equipment, the resistance profiles
Pure
on those
muck.
chest press machines is cat.
Pure muck.
But being back into my regular routine with my food as well, so I was actually getting those extra bits of carbs in, like 60 minutes before training sessions. I felt like I had a bit more of a buzz about me with those. Just getting back into that regular routine, I found that to be quite helpful.
You literally will not be Irish scrub. No matter where you go in the world, just coming home to the Irish food, it's a treat, isn't it?
I fair missed the likes of me steak and meat.
Just the quality of meat, the quality of all the food, to be fair, we're spoiled.
Yeah, it can't be better with a steak. But I did notice, like, even going away for the 2 weeks and getting back to my regular routine, like how dialed in it is and how effective it can be for my training.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's been really helpful.
Routine is key.
Yep. And finally, on that note, as we said, like both of us are well deep into this diet, but yet our training is still going really well. And it just goes to show, just because you're in a diet doesn't mean that your strength or your performance will just crumble after a couple of weeks. Once you're still training with intensity, once you're giving a shit about your recovery outside of the gym, there's no reason why your strength needs to dip. Like there's a good few exercises now that we're lifting the same, if not heavier now than we were a couple of weeks back.
This morning, prime example, I hit a PB on the bell squat. Do you know, like,
congratulations.
And do you know, I was saying it yesterday again on my Instagram story. I was like, what built the muscle keeps the muscle. Keeping that training intensity high. Keep prioritizing progressive overload, focusing on increasing your lifts wherever possible, whether it's through load or extra reps. Like yesterday, for example, with my deadlifts, last week it was a struggle, so I kept the weight the same, but I got 2 extra reps. It's that mentality when you're going into them sessions as well of refusing to take a backward step and just saying to yourself, I'm in here for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to make progress.
Pretty much that. And that's exactly what we would say to our clients as well. When they are dieting and struggling, and
you're going to struggle. There's going to be days where you struggle. Yeah,
it's not going to be a walk in the park. There are definitely, you could have the best recovery protocol in place. You could be eating the best of food. You could be eating to the gram what you're supposed to be. There's going to be days where you're a little bit stressed. The workload is quite high. The boss is after giving you more work to do, or you had a meeting that you didn't know and now you're dragged into the office for an extra hour, you have to stay back from work, or maybe the kids are sick at home, all these things, it's just life. And as a result, maybe you're not getting as much sleep. That's not the end of the world. Once you're still going in, getting the job done, doing what you can do on that given day, because it will always regulate. Like, you'll always have some days that are much better than others, some days that are much worse, but you'll always regress to the mean.
100%, and that's one thing that I always say to my clients as well, is don't miss twice. Like, if you go in and you have a poor quality session, make sure the next time you go in, you progress your lifts. Don't miss twice.
Or if you have a bad meal, or if you just get pulled,
it applies to everything.
If you get dragged out, the missus surprise you with a meal out that you didn't know, and just making sure that next meal
is a good one.
And not a big Mac.
And if you have a poor day, which can also happen, in terms of your nutrition, for whatever reason, don't have a second poor day. Don't back it up with a good day the next day.
And that's pretty much it for this week, but we're still tipping along nicely.
Very nicely,
And I'm looking forward to throwing on the fake tan sooner rather than later.
Can't wait. We might even show you that, the two of us getting tanned up.
Oh yeah, may as well. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, if any questions on how we're getting on, make sure to leave them below. Make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel as well. Be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll fill you in on all the behind the scenes as well. So we're doing the checking catch-ups as well on our email list too. So if you want to hear any more from us, just make sure to click the link below and sign up to those, and you'll hear even more. But yeah, we shall leave you with that.
Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yeah, and chat to you in the next one.
We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.